We continue our walk, eventually coming across the opening leading to an outer courtyard with a majestic fountain in the middle of it. Looking around the yard, sets of archways, decorated openings in the wall connecting to other areas of the campus with students walking in and out of them as fast as they arrive. As we get closer, some stop by the fountain, seemingly there to chat or to pour out a book or two. The air seems to cool a bit, prompting a sigh, the chill soothing me after being out in the desert heat for so long. Excuse me. My focus on the fountain is broken by a female student who sits down next to her friend. Both women have notebooks sprawled across the stone with notes I still can't decipher. Pardon the disturbance, but are you two from around here? A bit stunned from the interruption, I let Nero take the lead this time. I know. You come from Venus to seek better education here. We were told by one of your public service members to head to the library to catch a tour. Ah yes, you have to hurry, though. It's just about to start. Ah yes, you'll have to hurry, though. It's just about to start. You can find the guys just down the south corridor. Thank you for the directions. The two of us scurry away from the fountain towards the hallway we were pointed to, turning back briefly only to see they've returned to studying. They must be dedicated to their work. You were caught in a bit of a trance back there. The rat returned his normal accent, swats my stomach to get my attention. He quickly darts his hand back to his side, however, as to not blow our cover. Sorry that my fur isn't as short and light as yours is. The bloody heat is killing me, though. I can't complain. Sorry that my fur isn't as short and light as yours is. The bloody heat is killing me, though I can't complain. 2 months without this fur to soak up the sunlight, I never have such a radiant personality. Sorry that my fur isn't as short and light as yours is. The bloody heat is killing me, though I can't complain. 2 months without this fur to soak up the sunlight, I'd never have such a radiant personality. He simply rolls his eyes in response. I can see why a lot of students gather around here. I imagine the classrooms must be boiling with the amount of sun they soak up. Oh, definitely. Have you seen how high those windows reach? The sun must be beating down on them. I can't imagine sitting down on a desk like that. The sun would be so bright that I can't even read, never mind the heat stroke I would get. Nero gazes up, looking at the tower. Far in the distance is covered in stained glass windows, pretty impractical for an institution like this. How tall do you think the windows are? 10 meters? Not 10, maybe 6. We'll just have to find out on the tour. I seal my eyes as I step back out into the sun. Once everything adjusts, I'm able to make out a building in the center of the yard, the Library of Elendris. Nero walks ahead of me as I marvel at the structure. Despite what it's been through, how many years it stood, it almost looks brand new. Even as I arrive at the doors, the handles are pristine, no scratches to be found. The inside of the library is just as a surprise as the outside was. Bookcases spiral around the walls, filled to the brim with encyclopedias and literature. Looking up only increases in amazement and worry about our task as I see more bookshelves above us. Oh my gods, where do we even start with this? Patience, mate, patience. It would be wise to blend in first to get an idea of where things are on campus. As much as I want to start looking right now, I think people would be a bit suspicious at the two new people just scouring the library. It doesn't help that it feels like there's 1,000 eyes on us, well, more specifically, Nero. It's hard to ignore students looking at him as we lean against the banister. I suppose you're right. Shall we join the tour then? After you. I follow Nero towards a crowd of people in the center of the library. Most of them have those portable screens out, either jotting down notes or looking at a map on the campus. Glancing at my paper map makes me think of how efficient those screens must be. Maybe I should take one of my way. Maybe I should take one on my way home. It's apparently got like these screens like similar like here in this world, our world, we got like these pads, these touchscreen pads. So we know that earlier in the story, in the first build to Cleaved, there is TV in the kingdom, in Calder's kingdom anyway. There's TV, so I don't think this world here is completely all that primitive. We do have some technology, but it's not. It's kind of like a mixture of, I guess, 1700s and modern world. When it comes to technology, a mixture of it. Some technology that we have, they don't have, and then some of the technology we do have, they have as well. Anyway, glancing at my paper map makes me think of how efficient those screens must be. Maybe I should take one on my way home. Before I can ponder any further, however, a large doors opens to our left. The creaking of the wood echoes throughout the quiet library as the doors let the outdoor light in. These shadows emerge from the light and come into the library, their forms turning into what I can only assume to be professors as they step in. A big elk is the first to speak up. His hands slide out from the sleeves of his robes as he puts his hands together and bows. Sorry we're late. I hope we haven't kept you waiting for too long. The alligator to his right also takes an apologetic bow, while the bird next to him gives him a side eye. Welcome to our university. I am Professor Waspus. I teach many classes on the histories and the literatures of the world. My two friends and dear colleagues behind me are Professor Esvin and Agner. They teach geography and anthropology, respectively. I see we have some distant travelers in our party this time. The elk points towards us, more specifically the cloth Nero has wrapped around his waist. Nero looks behind him before realizing he's the elk's target, quickly regaining his composure, however, nodding twice and holding his hands like the professors before us. Ah, yes, my companion and I have come a long way. The news, correct? Well, I must say, it's very rare we get visitors from the south. Perhaps you two will be so obliged as to tell us a little more about your homes. There'd be no doubt that they would be a valuable learning opportunity for all those in attendance today. That would be wonderful. I didn't expect the academic type to be so open. Dale returns his attention to the rest of the crowd. A certain white rat draws mine away, though. That was a bit too easy, wasn't it? Yes, it doesn't help that we were pointed out specifically. We have a target on our backs now. I look around the crowd. A few of the students are already giving us glares as the elk prattles on. We'll have to keep our guard up around them as well as hope they don't look for us as we scout for the book. I attempt to ignore the stares of the other students, focusing on the elk as he finishes his speech. He's probably given to several other groups a day. Now then, with all that out of the way, let us show you around the university. We're almost left behind as the students begin to follow the professors. As much as I'd rather stay and search for the book, I don't want to give our cover away. Come on, let's follow them. Right. After a bit of a walk back from the library, the professors lead us down to the hallways of the university. Compared to the common area from earlier, the hallways are eerily quiet. The only sounds we can hear are some of the lectures being taught as we're tugged around. Eventually, the alligator opens one of the doors, guiding us into an empty lecture hall, stairs leading up to rows of oak desks with screens installed in them, probably for quick note-taking. The alligator sews off the curtains for the walls in the hall. Sews off the windows in the hall. The alligator sews off the curtains for the windows in the hall, which close on sunny days so that the light doesn't cause glare on the screens. Contrasting the advanced technology is an enormous blackboard at the other end of the room. There are still eraser marks from the previous class on it, which the falcon quickly goes to clean. The other students around us begin to take notes on what the elk is saying. I put out the notebook I got from the safe house, pretending to write things down. Nero notices my act and follows suit to throw the suspicion off us. Glancing from my own, I notice that the others are finally starting to break their gaze. This is what the majority of your classrooms will look like. All screens are also equipped with multiple accessibility features in order to ensure you have everything you need to succeed. The elk goes on to explain what some of these features are, like being used as displays for the blackboard to offer the best available view, or making audio recordings, even accurate translations for words foreign students might not be familiar with. Shall we carry on with the tour? The students in front of us make a path for the professors who brush past us as I walk out of the room. I can't shake the falcons glare at me, though I bring my book to my chest, trying to press myself against the wall as much as I can. We continue down the hall before stopping in front of another classroom, although this time I can hear a lecture coming from within. We're going to sit in on this class for a few minutes just to give you an idea of what our university offers. I trust y'all to be on your best behavior. Please do not talk over the instructor or disrupt the class. The elk's tone turns deadly serious, and several students straighten their backs as if they're in the military. The gator knocks on the door to the classroom, and I can hear the lecture pause, with the sound of chalk being placed on a tray as it quiets down. Just a moment, everyone. Creaking echoes through the hallway as the door opens, revealing the instructor to be a canid of some sort. If I had to guess, he's probably a coyote. Unlike the professors who have been guiding us, his attire is much more casual. No fancy robes, just a cowl over his clothes. Even so, what he's wearing is still out of my usual price range. Despite the intrusion, he seems quite happy to see us. Though he keeps his eyes closed, he practically flings the door open once he sees the crowd behind the professors. Everyone, this is Professor Stig. He's a specialist in archaeology and preservation. The coyote flashes a grin, filled with his cowl, as he clears his throat. He finally opens his eyes, which glow but somehow look dead, almost as if he's scheming something. Welcome, everyone. This is the last tour today, correct? Please just stand to the side and don't interrupt the lesson. I hope to see some of you in my class next semester. The instructor returns to the blackboard, picking up his chalk as he continues of what he was teaching the class. I decided to stand near one of the desks, and sure enough, his writings appeared on the screen next to me. Despite the notes, I still can't make heads or tails of what he's talking about. It seems a bit too advanced for me. Wonder how Neil's holding up. Looking over to him, I can see how vigorously copying the notes the instructor is writing. He seems to be having a bit of trouble matching the speed he's teaching at, however. I notice that the other students seem to be following along just fine, though I guess it's due to them using their portable screens instead of pen and paper. Eventually, the instructor turns back to the class and concludes his lesson. The students sitting down grab their belongings and pile out of the room in an orderly fashion. The coyote walks up to the professor, a proud smile on his face as he scans the students behind him. He gives a nervous chuckle, rubbing the back of his head. I hope you all enjoyed what you saw of my lesson. Hopefully it was sufficient in giving you a taste of what this university's classes are like. Thank you for agreeing to demonstrate for the tour, Professor Stig. I'll have to make it up to you somehow. Perish the thought, Rasmus. I'm always happy to help a fellow professor share knowledge with those willing to learn it. The professors give a slight bow to the instructor, who does the same back as we exit to continue the tour. Soon we're led out of the main building again, walking along a stone walkway decorated with bustles of flowers on the sides. The aroma is a bit overpowering, and I try to resist pinching my nose. An unlucky tour goer seems to be suffering more than I do, as multiple sneezes escape them. The professors give a slight bow. The professors give a slight bow to the instructor, who does the same back as we exit to continue the tour. Soon we are led out of the main building again, walking along a stone walkway decorated with bustles of flowers on the sides. The aroma is a bit overpowering, and I try to resist pinching my nose. An unlucky tour-goer seems to be suffering more than I do, as multiple sneezes escapes him. It doesn't take long to arrive at a rather extravagant building. The interior is still elegant like the classrooms, but is much cozier. A staircase greets us at the main entrance, with it splitting off the higher it gets. I can see multiple doors over the banisters the stairs lead to. Several students sit in leather chairs before a fireplace, most of them following the same stereotype the others have, doing schoolwork in their notebooks on their screens. The elk clears his throat as he arrives at the stairs, turning back to us and causing several students who were on their screens to grind to a halt. I try to hold my laughter back at that spectacle. Although it's not required, we do have logins for students who wish to enroll here. If you go up these stairs, you will arrive at the bedrooms you will be staying in. We offer co-ed dormitories at another facility at the rear of the school. However, for those searching for solace with the same genders, there are male dormitories to the left and females to the right. The housing committee can help you find the right place to be, but let me stress that we have a strict policy on the behaviors we expect of you in these halls. So I presume you'll all be on your best. Like saying that is going to prevent anything from happening. Looking around, it seems that several students think the same way. It looks like a few of them are holding back laughs as they write down notes. Still, it's a nice building. I don't think I wouldn't mind staying here if I went to this university. I kind of wish we could be shown one of the rooms. One of the rooms for the privacy is understandable why. An airplane going by here now. I kind of wish we could be shown one of the rooms, but I kind of wish we could be shown one of the rooms, but for privacy, it's understandable why. Now then, we have one more stop before we end this tour of ours. The elk, alligator, and falcon walk past us with a brisk pace back outside into the scorching heat. As we exit the building, I can see them turn to the left towards an even more lavish place. Pillars of black and gold stand outside the doors, which are the tallest we've seen yet. They don't look like wood either. They almost seem to be made of marble. A loud creak fills the air as the alligator and falcon open them. As my eyesight adjusts to the dark of the interior, I can see why they saved this place for last. We're greeted by a ballroom, the floor is shining bright as the light above comes down upon it, decorated curtains covering the tall windows as a chandelier hangs over us. This is the grand hall, where we hold ceremonies and dances. I suppose you could call it ballroom of sorts. As you can see, we have some staff setting up for a party right now. Due to the new semester coming up, we're holding a huge celebration for the staff to bring it in. Of course, you all will have opportunities to come here in the future. There's a winter ball, New Year's. I start to zone out as the elk drones on. Nero seems to be paying attention, so I let myself rest for a bit. Two of the tour goers break away from their professionalism, dancing the waltz in the background. I can sense the ire of Adnir heading their way. I must stop for a laugh. I wonder would I actually enjoy myself here if I was able to stay. There seem to be a lot of perks of advanced technology. This place is accommodating, even with the desert heat bursting its way in. I could just stay at the Fountain Inn between classes and... No, it would be too suffocating. I can't be stuck in this place. I need to help Brian and get back home. Come on, Fraser, pull yourself together. Gotta get that book and leave. Not dawdle or something. That'll never happen. Now shall we return to the library? I jump as the elk says that, bracing myself to prevent my tail from bristling. I saw that I saw him looking at me. There's no way this man read my mind, right? I feel a small nudge in my side as professors and students leave. Neil was looking up at me, his eyes full of concern. I'm fine, Noir. Come, let's return with the others. The lie doesn't seem to be enough for Nero, but we return to the group regardless, the falcon's eyes staring at us as we walk towards him. The walk back to the library is much louder than before. Several students eagerly start to talk as we leave the hall. My guess is that a lot of them are friends with each other. I swear I could see the falcon's eyes twitch as we walk past the classrooms with their gabbing. Thankfully, the walk isn't too long, and we return to the library. The elk clears his throat, the noise filling the library. Everyone sets up and falls into position like they're part of an army. I hope you enjoyed the tour around this humble university. Humble, right. If you have any questions, feel free to ask any of us. We'll be here for a while, so don't need to worry. I elbow Nero, who looks as if he's about to fall asleep at this point. He jolts awake, turning to me as I motion towards a plethora of cells. With the professors distracted, maybe we can... you two. Shit. If you could just wait at one of the tables, we'll speak with you shortly. Well, it was worth a try. Nero and I sit at an empty table, hoping that no one joins as we talk. Normally, I'd lean in, but I think two people conversing with their chests over a table would bring attention to us. We'll just have to settle with whispering for now. Damn, there's a lot of stuff here. Yeah, for sure, but we must keep our focus on the book. I kind of wish we got a bit of a tour of the library. to get an idea of where it could be, but I guess we'll have to find that out ourselves. Speaking of which, where in the hells do we even start with looking? I was thinking you could take the lower floors while I start with the upper levels. Unfortunately, asking a librarian is out of the question. Yeah, asking for such an important book might raise some eyebrows. We don't even know how they sort the books here. It's going to be a lot of work. Just as Nero is about to respond, the professors walk over to us. Both of us get out of our seats and give a small bow to the three. The alligator and falcon give us a skeptical look, but the elk just lets out a hearty laugh. I can feel the librarian's eyes throwing daggers in our direction. Oh, no need to do that. I hope you enjoy our tour around the campus. Was the heat a bit much for you, Name is right. Fraser, and this is my friend Noir. It's a pleasure to meet you both. I see you've come a long way. You can certainly say that again. The alligator raises his snout as he looks at me, with even more curiosity dressed across his face. Good news, you said. Yes, you don't sound like you hail from there. Ah, he isn't originally from there. His aunt sent him to Vernews due to ongoing violence in his hometown. We became friends and decided to come here to pursue higher education. Ah, yes, I imagine the education system in Vernews is a bit subpar compared to our university. You come to the right place, young ones. Tell me, though. I'm interested in what you two are planning to study here. Most of the students have a plan when they come here, and I'm curious as to what Venusians want to learn. This could be a chance to find out some more about the university, or perhaps they could point me in the direction of the book. I'm quite interested in acquiring a degree in literature. Oh, really? Yes, I love to read stories, particularly those from other cultures and kingdoms. I like to see how different people interpret stories. The subtle differences can be quite fascinating. The falcon's eyebrows are as high as can be. He pushes his way past the elk, taking over the conversation. Interesting. I don't hear people talk much about culture when it comes to literature. Tell me, lad, do you have an interest in history of said cultures? But let's go along with it. We finally have this guy's interest instead of some dirty looks. Certainly, the impact it can have on the interpretations of the stories when given out can make all the differences in their purpose, meaning you name it. Unfortunately, Venus didn't have a lot of resources for researching said cultures. I'm hoping to find some books here that will help me find out more. The falcon claps his wings together, a giddy smirk strung across his once dour face. He almost jumps with glee, but clears his throat, returning to a more professional stance. I can do you one better. I can do you one better than a library. We'll require all students to have one focus of study to guarantee effective results from your time here. You know what? Instead, I'm just gonna pick. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick anthropology instead. Kind of more interested in that. Apparently, you can only do one choice, so kind of more interested. I'm more interested in geography and anthropology, but I do like the history of these cultures and this. I do like the history of these cultures and in this story so far, so I'm gonna pick this one. I'm quite interested in studying other cultures. My village and Vernews are quite different from each other. It piqued my curiosity, and coming here only strengthened it. The falcon, who's been judgmental of us this entire time, walks over with a glimmer in his eyes. He almost mouths the elk down as he strides towards us. You're looking to study anthropology. Yes, I'm particularly curious about the history of other cultures. I want to see what shaped them into what they are today. I know all about Venus and Alandras, but there are so many places one could learn about. I was wondering if the library had any resources, but from what I can see, there's not. But from what I can see, there's more than enough. I spent a lifetime here trying to read any. I was wondering if the library had any resources, but from what I can see, there's more than enough. I spent a lifetime here trying to read everything. The falcon claps his wings together, a giddy smirk strung across his once dour face. He almost jumps with glee, but clears his throat, returning to a more professional stance. I can do you one better than a library. We require our students to have one focus of study to guarantee effective results from your time here. However, our curriculum does have the option to take additional classes to expand your repertoire of knowledge between classes. We have a professor here inspired by travelers of old who offer an all-rounder course on the interests you've mentioned. The falcon seems awfully spry, as if having the chance to be so boastful was one of his main pleasures. Regardless, this is the most emotion I've seen of him, only for it to be crushed soon after by the reptile next to him. Unfortunately, said professor is away on an excursion, so the classes aren't officially in session for it just yet. Well, yes, that's true. There I say, I'm sensing a but coming along. While he may be gone, one of our senior students is a direct assistant to him. They are still a student, and while I'm positive he will be able to help with whatever you need, I can't guarantee you'll be able to join his class. After all, despite his seniority, he is still a student, like I said. I, in good conscience, don't want to overburden him with additional responsibilities. I try to hide the disappointment on my face. They are certainly not making this easy for me. Maybe we could convince the assistant to tell us what section the book is in. They might be naive about its importance. Nero chimes in before I can respond, like he read my thoughts. That will work. We would love to meet them now, if that's possible. Yes, that would be fantastic if it's not possible, though. Is there a section in the library relating to those subjects? You're certainly eager about the library, lad, aren't you? I am only as useful as the knowledge I got to share apologies. I've heard so many stories about this place since I was a kid. It just didn't feel real that I'm hearing, you know? The elk nudges the falcon, taking back his position as the head honcho of the group. He looks apologetic and he hunts a bit. I almost mistake it for another bow. I see. Well, in honesty, it's nice to see such optimism from the youth attending here. We do have sections for that, but as you can see, our tour was a bit long. I'm puzzled about what the elk means until I look out of one of the few windows the library can have, only to see hues of orange and red sign through the glass. It can't be that late already, can it? Unfortunately, our classes in the library will be closing soon. You're more than welcome to come back tomorrow, however. Do you two have logins for the night? Ah, yes, we were able to make arrangements before coming here. We'll be sure to come straight here tomorrow. Perfect. Let me mark on your map where the student assistant will be tomorrow morning so you can go visit him right away. I hand the elk our map. He glazes over it before finding the classroom and circling it on the piece of paper. Once he hands it back, I stuff it into my bag. Now, regrettably, I must ask you both to leave. It's no trouble. Perhaps we'll see each other again tomorrow. There's a possibility. Have a good night. It's hard not to be a little irritated at the situation. My friendly smile turns to a scowl as we head for the door. Our mission delayed just a bit longer. Pardon me, Mr. Fraser. Was it? Rasmussen and Esvin seemed to vanish into thin air, leaving the Falcon alone, and the libraries of students and teachers pile out. Is it possible that I could talk to you alone for a second? His eyes darted at my side, and I can already tell he's looking at Nero, who stopped in his track waiting for me. I turned to give the rat a small smile, and nod to sue him away. He shrugs reluctantly and throws his hands behind his head as he walks off. In truth, the library is rather eerie without any people in it. Even the librarian has disappeared behind the cells. The silence was filled by the whispers of students all around or the taps of fingers as they took notes. Now the Falconine professor is just scanning me up and down as if he's looking for scrapes and dents on a piece of furniture. I have to say, I am somewhat enthused by your passion for knowledge, Fox. But as much as I love that passion, nothing gets past these eyes as I feel as if there's more to your story than you're letting on. We're not up to anything, Professor Adner. We're just here to expand our knowledge and learn more about the world. Well, I apologize if we came off otherwise. I would stand firm that we've been nothing but truthful since meeting you. Oh, cut the nonsense, Fraser. I saw you and your friend fraternizing during the tour. As if there wasn't anyone dancing in the grand hall. In truth, I'm deeply offended by the accusation. The falcon grimaces at the retort, and I start to leave the library again. A sharp tug on my holster pulls me back into place. Agnar seething with rage. If I find out you two are up to no good, I'll report your mishaps to the authorities. And if you put your feathers on me again, you'll be lucky if they remain unclipped. I take a mental note that we'll need to watch out for Agnar. Now, could you kindly let me go now, Professor? The falcon's set-eating grin only angers me more as he slowly releases the holster from his whip. As soon as I'm far enough, I straighten it, trying to make myself more comfortable. Of course, he had to mess up my disguise. See you in class, Mr. Fraser. Oh, fuck off. Now I'm alone in the library, though I can see more staff coming through the door windows. Best get out while I can and make a plan with Nero Force. The hell did he want? I'll tell you after we get some dinner. Let's get out of here. We didn't speak during dinner. It's not exactly a good idea to explain a heist out in public. Once we return to the safe house, I catch him up on the brief encounter, and an enormous groan escapes Nero. Should have known this wouldn't be that easy, and here I was thinking he was coming around with how interested he was with that spiel you gave him. Nero sits down, putting his feet up as he does so. I threw my overshirt off, still hot from all the walking. Thankfully, the air is cooling down now, but it's nowhere near cold yet. It would be pleasant if we hadn't walked around all day. I know, it just means we're going to have to keep an eye on him. Perfect. So what should we do regarding tomorrow? Huh? We're going to meet with the student assistant. You don't want to split up? No, we're not students, so if one of us got caught, we'd certainly be raising some alarms. I guess you have a point, but I think it would be a good idea to at least look through the library a bit, just to get our bearings. I make my way over to a chair, throwing off my shirt and pants to let my fur breathe a little, rubbing my muzzle as I sit across from the rat. He is right, we didn't get a single chance to look through the library today. How about this, we'll get there early and take a look through the library for a bit. We could probably use the guys that were killing time and didn't know if we were restricted. Sounds like a plan to me. We might still get some valuable information from them. We just gotta be on point with all moves going forward. Right, the booksellers will give us cover if one of the teachers come into the building. We can just hide behind them until they leave. True, we'll just have to sneak around a bit. Exactly, I kinda wish your dad had told us about how big that library would be, though. Yeah, no kidding. I knew it would be big, but that still was something. Hopefully it won't. Hopefully it won't take too long to look through it all. I think once we narrow it down to certain sections, things will go by quick. I'm gonna turn in early. We have a long day ahead of us tomorrow. I'll be out shortly too. I'm not quite tired yet. Gonna enjoy some in the night at in the night. I'll be out shortly too. I'm not quite tired yet. Gonna enjoy some of the night air first. Maybe it's that fur of yours. I'm gonna turn in early. We have a long day ahead of us tomorrow. I'll be out shortly too. I'm not quite tired yet. Gonna enjoy some of the night air first. Maybe it's that fur of yours keeping then. Maybe it's that fur of yours keeping in heat that's got you fatigued. Perhaps. Night noir. Even with the covers on, it's difficult to fall asleep. The desert air turned from a comfortable warmth to just plain freezing. The view out of the safe house's windows is breathtaking, however. Stars litter the dark sky and the moon is just out of view from my bed. I wonder what it looks like at the Elses. The water sparkling a starlight the water sparkling as starlight dances across the water, seeing the moon creep across it as it rises into the middle of the night and sinks into the morning. The sky is bright, but not enough to completely deter myself from dreamland. I debate whether I should put another layer on. My mind wanders back to earlier this week, stumbling into the tavern after getting drenched in the cold. I just hope whatever whim has its chasing is worth it. It is for Brian's sake. Why am I doing this? I keep saying it's because of their status and how they're able to get words in the Woven Council's thick skulls, but I need some sleep. Alright, so we got to see a new city, a new landscape, and we got to see a very large snake. And turns out he's a student also. So I wonder if we'll see him again since they made a sprite of him. He has a sprite, but so I'm just wondering if because of that we might see him again and he might have some importance in this side story. I don't know. But he certainly doesn't strike the look of a student. I mean, he's certainly more built like a warrior, to protect the city. He said that himself, but he's not. And I guess like he said that snakes are naturally strong, so he doesn't have to work out. So, I mean, when I first saw him, I thought he was gonna beat Nero up. you know, he looks like those types, but actually he was very nice. And he didn't make a big deal of it at all. He was very nice and used that as an opportunity to introduce himself. So anyway, so some of the teachers or the professors are suspicious of Fraser and Nero or Noir, and when that Falcon was able to have a moment with Fraser alone, he basically warned him that he will be reporting him to authorities if they try anything sneaky, and that he doesn't believe their story, and that And Fraser, instead of breaking down, he stood firm and told him, "Hey, if you put your hands on me again, I'll do this to you." Anyway, um, yeah, but he stood his ground. It was a good thing for him to do, because he got kind of fearful or discombobulated, that would have risen the Falcons' suspicion even more. So it was good that he stood up to the Falcon, even if the Falcon is right in his suspicions. But anyway, so they got to see the university campus, and it's way more modern than I thought it would be. You got blackboards there, which is basically like smart boards here in the classrooms here in our world. You know, like got some apps on it, and you can do some fancy stuff on it. So it seems like in some areas the world is primitive, in some areas it's more advanced. I mean, transportation is still primitive, like you still using carts and all that stuff. Like that's how they got to the city, like using carts. But in other areas, it's actually way more advanced. You got tablets and TV, and it's really not as primitive as what you would expect in the medieval or maybe early modern period. I mean, basically, it's not quite as primitive as what you would expect in the world and well in Europe in the, I guess, second millennium. That period between 1000 A.D. and 2000. That 1,000 period. But anyway, so they're gonna have to keep an eye out for that Falcon. Alright, so we got to see a lot of new stuff and new stuff in the world, and that's what I like about this side story. You get to explore different areas while the main story is still being worked on. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.